can hear them walk. Oh! I'm sorry, are they making walking noises? I can't even hear it. Okay, I guess we can start now. I'm kind of lost because we haven't played this in a while, but all I know is we left the operating room and apparently this is a very long hallway. Sorry for the walking noises. I can't hear anything, so... They left the operating room. The hallway took them around several corners and past several doors, but they were all locked. Until at last... Yeah, seriously, at last... The final door was hidden in a corner of the hall. Junpei grabbed the handle. As he made to push it open, a voice stopped him. The voice came from behind him and belonged to neither Seven nor Clover. Junpei! He spun around. Oh, I wonder who that could be. He saw someone running toward him from the other end of the hallway. There were 3 people coming toward Junpei and his companions. Santa, Lotus, and June! They pulled up short in front of Junpei, breathing hard.
Whoa! What the hell is this?
What are you doing here?
What? But we didn't...
Before he could finish, Clover spoke. Hey, guys, could you come take a look at this? Everyone just plops down because they've been walking for like 5 hours. She was standing near the end of a small hallway that branched off to the right. Oh, I don't know if it will, but if my computer suddenly shuts off or I suddenly go online. Duh. If I suddenly go offline, it just maybe my computer shut down because I haven't really used it like this in a while, so it might overheat for the first time, but it seems to be good so far. I hope I didn't just jinx it, but I can't speak English lately. I apologize. It's probably only gonna get worse. Where was I? The rest of them ran over to her, curious as to what she'd found. There was something... Stupid nasally voice. There was something on the wall at the end of the hallway. I would hope I'd be online right now. I don't know.
A map of the ship's interior.
It said sea deck in the upper left corner. It was, they assumed, a map to the floor they were on. Door 7 and... Door 8. The map confirmed what they already knew. Both doors eventually led to the hallway where they found themselves. Yes, my inability to speak English is only going to get worse. Hey, Onirius, because I have reapplied myself to a school, how do I, I've reapplied to school to retake Japanese classes. It's been a couple of years, so my Japanese is very limited. But that's what I mean by since I'll be learning more Japanese since I'm taking in a new language. I think since my English is already kind of blah, it'll probably get worse because I'm learning, more of another language. I don't know how to explain it, but okay, where? In fact, sorry if I skipped that sentence. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time. I haven't studied Japanese since I was in high school, so it's been a long time. I've done a lot of self-study, but not actual classroom study.
Yeah, isn't that what I said? We aren't going to be split up permanently till we find door 9. We might get separated for a little while, but we'll see each other again. Otherwise, we won't be able to open door 9. That's how the nonary game works.
Junpei looked at the map of the ship's interior again. As he looked more closely, his surprise and excitement gave way to weariness. One by one, the others saw what he'd seen. They moved as one for the door. He pulled the map of the ship's interior off of the wall, put it in his pocket, and followed the others. The 6 of them stood in front of the door, arrayed in a semicircle. Santa stepped forward. He took hold of the door and spoke without looking back at the other 5.
Ready? I'm gonna open it.
You open that door, Santa. You can do it. Slowly, all 5 nodded their silent assent. With a deep breath, Santa threw open the door. You went to America? Where did you go? You bought 5 games. Oh no, English is my first language. I I find the older I get, the more I'm like, what is the word for? So, yeah, it's kind of weird. Even though it's my first language, the more I get older, the more I'm not so good at it. The worse I get. Oh, you went to Florida? Oh, did you go to Disney? That's always my question when people go to Florida or did you go to Disney? I want to go to Disney so bad. Anyways, they poured through the doorway and into the room. I'm so sorry, I'm getting so distracted. Even without looking around, each one of them knew where they were. They were just where the map had said they would be. The same room they'd been in not so very long ago. Ah, the giant hospital bedroom. The tremendous central hospital room with empty beds from wall to wall. You went to... Huh? I'm so jealous. I want to go to Disney so bad. I haven't been since I was a baby. The tremendous central hospital room with empty beds from wall to wall. I want to go to Disney. Kay, you gotta make that Risei face. You gotta make the Risei face. My boss recently went to Florida and she got back and I'm like, okay, but I have a serious question for you. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, did you go to Disney? And she did, but she also went to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, and I'm so jealous because I want to go to both of those. Anyways, I see. This story's gonna lose context if I keep getting distracted, so I'm gonna try, not to re-say face. Hey, if I ever get to make emoticons on my channel, I want one to be the re-say derp face from Dancing All Night. I think that'd be great. I believe I understand what I'm reading. What you're saying, I don't understand what I'm reading because I'm getting distracted. The 6 of you split into 2 teams and went through doors 7 and 8. Oh, that's right. We left Ace behind so we could go through the doors, right? I think. You solved the puzzles in the operating room in the laboratory and then met one another in the hallway after opening your respective locked doors. He looked like anyone might after only just waking up, but it seemed that his brain was working as well as ever. I'm sorry if words come out with, like, stuffy nose sound effects. I'm sorry. He had managed to grasp, summarize, and understand each team's report. Whoa! Yeah, you went to Universal I'm gonna lose my mind! Oh, okay, quick announcement about Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I really wanted to buy it, but I really want to play it so bad. But I was watching someone play it, and I don't know if I can justify spending... I'd love to. I'd honestly love to spend the $60 or $70 that it costs just to... I could buy it digitally. I just don't know if I have the funds to spend on it right now. Because... I guess semi-quick announcement. I'm so sorry for cutting into the middle of 999. I've actually made some changes recently, and I'm working on this long-term goal. So I'm studying right now, which did take some money from me, about $380 to study in my new class. But also, I'm working long-term to go study abroad and live in Japan. And I'd also like to fully live in Japan eventually after all the schooling is done. So that's a lot of money. So I kind of have to watch what money I'm spending lately on games and stuff. I was gonna say maybe I'll actually take some of you up on the offer of donations towards games. If you can't donate, don't even worry about it. I still gotta set everything up. But if you would like to donate, even if it's like $2, I don't even care, I might look into setting that up. But please do not inconvenience yourself if that's not something you can afford. I know we are all, most of us anyways, are struggling just to get by on our own. But yes, so my long-term plan will be to study abroad and live in Japan. So yeah, that's going to cost a lot of money, so I'm saving up while I can. Hence why I can't really spend... Plus, this is stupid, but I'm buying my cosplay right now, and it's really expensive. Oh, Onirius, I still have to set everything up, but once I set things up, I'll let you guys know. where to find information and stuff like that. I still gotta figure it out because I've never done this before. But I'm also buying my cosplay because there's a convention in September that I will be going to, and I told you guys about it. I think my Sailor Moon cosplay costs a lot, so my costume's done and it is on my way to me. My English is on the way to me. Right now, but I need the boots, and the boots are really expensive, so I have to see how much I'm spending on my credit card first, because the boots are, I think, just over $200. They're very, very expensive, but they're nice boots, but they're very expensive. So, and that is the most I will ever spend on shoes in my life, because I am not one of those girls that spends thousands of dollars on shoes. If I can get a pair of shoes for like $10, I'll, woo! So yeah, very expensive. So I have to watch what I'm spending. But anyways, I hope I can get Persona 4 Dancing All Night. If not now, then I will definitely be playing the English version for you guys if I can't import it. Yoshi's Woolly World looks like a really cute game. I hope you're enjoying it. But anyways, yes, if you didn't hear me, I'm cosplaying as Sailor Moon. Yeah. She's my favorite. It's my favorite anime of all time. But anyways, let's go back to 9999999999999. Enough nines in there. But yeah, that's my tiny announcement, with which maybe I can elaborate on in a later video or chat with you guys. But now all of this is gonna be in the YouTube recording. That's just great. It's just great. People are gonna be in the comments like, just play the fucking game, man. And I'm gonna be like, listen to my dreams. Okay. Where was I? He looked like anyone might have to. Nope, I read that. He had managed to. Nope, I read that too.
At any rate, I feel a bit silly for my little show of altruism. I'm sure you'll be back for me. I did hope you would come back, but I confess I didn't think you'd be back so soon.
Ace shook his head with a rueful smile. Whoa! 9,999,999 seconds and 99 doors and 9 people. I read that really fast. It's impressive. Good going, me.
Well, we saw each other again, and we ain't dead, so I say that's good enough.
Seven smiled.
Anyway, I say we get out of this creepy old place. We found the key we need.
The key?
Ain't that what I just said? I'm talking about the Jupiter key. We found it in the operating room. Right, Junpei?
Junpei nodded. Ah, the solar system keys. Actually, we found one in the laboratory, too. Here, the Earth key. Lotus dug out a still warm key with an... It's warm? With an Earth symbol on it. I might lose it. It's probably better if you hold on to it. That way it won't be my fault if it gets lost. That's so nice of you. And with that, she pressed it into Junpei's hand. He felt slightly less than honored. As a group, they now had 3 keys that had not been used. Jupiter key, which had been found in the operating room. The Saturn key card, which had been found in the kitchen. And the Earth key, which Lotus had just handed to Junpei. Junpei tucked the new keys into his pocket. June spoke up. The Jupiter key's supposed to be for the door at the end of that long, straight hallway, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
If the man's right, if the map's right, then it connects to the central staircase. Who's the man? The next to the stairs.
Wait.
It
begins. I was doing so well. They were the first words anyone had heard out of Clover in quite some time. Her face suggested they weren't going to be very happy words. What about door 3?
Look, you saw the map, right? It's the same as 7 and 8. It just lead us...
I'm so giggly today. Maybe I'm just excited to see you guys, or hear C-type C. Nice. It just lead us back to the big hospital room. Hey, Remix! I didn't even see you come in. The disappearing Chiaki. Oh, I'm missing a lot of stuff. Hello to everyone that came in, sorry. Hey, May. Sorry, I was busy talking about my stupid dreams for the future. And didn't say hi to anyone. I'm so rude. You just woke up from a nap. Good morning.
There's no point in seeing what's on the other side of that door.
There is a point. At least there is for me. There were tears in her eyes, but she glared at Seven as hard as she could, just the same. She looked very much like a frightened puppy. Aw. There wasn't a man alive who could have resisted those eyes. Seven looked everywhere in the room except at Clover and muttered and coughed under his breath. And muttered and coughed apologies under his breath. I can do it. I can do it. My dreams for the future. Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. Snake might be on the other side of the door 3.
Clover nodded once. The next person to speak was Ace.
Very well. I'll be coming with you then. I've had a nice long rest. I think it's time I was up and out of that again. So Seven, you'll help me, won't you? Huh? Me?
Junpei did the calculations quickly in his head. Aw, thank you, Onirius. I mean, they're exciting to me, but I don't know how exciting they would be to somebody else. I get really excited when I think about it, so... Math time! 4 plus 1 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. It looked like 7 was doing them too. At last, he gave the worst right now.
Damn, well, I guess that's how it's gotta be. So I'm going with you, huh? Yes, you are. Alright, let's get moving.
It's 2 deep-voiced characters at the same time. I can't do this. And so it was decided that Clover, Ace, and Seven would discover what lay beyond door 3. Oh, Remix, I know what you mean. I get the same problem with the PS4 overheating like that.
Okay, we're heading out.
Itterashai! Be careful.
Whoa, didn't think I'd be hearing that from you, Lotus.
Don't let it go to your head. I'd be in trouble if the 3 of you brought it. What did I just read? Never mind. Forget that sentence existed. The rest of us can't open the 9 door. I don't know what I just said. Just never mind.
Ah.
The truth comes out. This is the most awkward reading I've ever done. What's the dream? Oh, well, I told everyone I'll give you a brief explanation because I just took a couple minutes to explain it just now. I'm going back to Japanese classes after many years. I've always self-taught, but I haven't gone to Japanese school in quite a couple years, like maybe more than 5 years. So I'm going back to do that, and then I'm hoping to study abroad and eventually live in Japan. Those are my goals right now. To study and live in Japan. But definitely study first. Like, studying would take maybe 2 years, so I'd get to live there for 2 years. But I gotta see how that all works out, but hopefully it does. Anyways. Why is there super giant cleavage on the game? It's all Lotus's fault. She just has her bobbies out for everyone to see. Her gravy bobs. So, that's an inside joke, I'm so sorry. Seven nodded as if this answer made much more sense and pulled the lever on the red. Pull the lever, Croak! Oh, you pulled the right lever. Oh, thanks, Remix.
Okay, let's go!
The door opened and Ace, Clover, and Seven jumped through it. Because boobs are wonderful. Boobies. The door opened and Ace, Clover, and Seven jumped through it. I think I read that. 6, 7, 8. After exactly 9 seconds, the door closed noisily. Take me with you. I know. I wish I could take people with me. Next Persona character name is Bob Gravy. Actually, I'll quickly explain. When I was playing Final Fantasy VII, we named Tifa Gravy Bobs. Bobs was short for boobs somehow. We just took out an O, but yeah. Gravy Bobs. I've heard a lot about teaching English and stuff. I might look into it, but it may require more schooling than I have on my part. Wait, seriously? Why would someone do that? A lot of trolls lurking lately on Twitch. Sorry about that, May. I think you should all go to Japan if that's what you want to do. You can do it, especially if you just want to visit. I'm sure it wouldn't be too bad. Anyways, sorry. Alright, we should get moving too.
Huh?
Get moving?
Where are we going?
Everyone except Lotus seemed rather confused. Well, it would be a waste of time to just sit around, wouldn't it? Let me explain. Yeah, I saw one of the trailers that someone posted for Persona 5. Looks amazing. Ah! I'm glad I caught it before they took it down. Oh, it's okay, May. Hopefully you didn't... Hopefully you brain bleached or something. Though I hear hotels in Japan are very expensive, but that's no reason to not go, right? I mean, I'm having to save up a lot for my... Pepperoni 5. I'm having to save up a lot for my tuition, but... I just think if it's somewhere you want to visit, I think you should go. 'Cause why not? I get it. We're gonna see if we can get anywhere interesting with the Jupiter key. Yes. If we're lucky, we might find Snake. Oh yeah, Snake is missing. They were at the end of the hallway lined by individual hospital rooms. The Jupiter symbol was engraved on the keyhole. All right, Junpei. Open it, if you please. Yeah, on it. Junpei pulled the Jupiter key out of his pocket and slid it into the keyhole. He twisted. With a nice, sharp click, he felt the door unlock. All right, ready, guys? Junpei's companions nodded. He nodded back, then slowly and quietly opened the door. Oh, that's true. Yeah, there's always options between expensive and non-expensive. I really wanted to study in Akihabara, but I'm not sure yet because that's gonna cost me a lot of money. I might decide to go to a different school, maybe in Shibuya or something. I really wanted to study at the school in Akihabara though. That would have been great. There's a Gundam cafe, I think, in Akihabara as well. Inside was exactly what he expected to see from the map of the ship's interior. They were in a tremendous hall, almost like a ballroom, with a massive central staircase.
Great, back to the beginning. You sure this is a good idea?
Hey, Jonah.
What do you mean? Well, we already searched every inch of this room, didn't we? I'm asking you if there's any reason we came back here.
What do you think? Of course there's a reason? Or no idea? You heard about Japan having to close. Well, Japanese people, from what I've seen and heard, are very, they're very nice. They're very hospitable when you go to their country. But keep in mind that if you're going to live there, you're probably going to want to develop their ways and their culture, which is pretty much what I plan to do. Live the way they live. Akihikobara. Oh, I see what you did there. Didn't even notice. Oh, that's so bad. Thank you. That's the greatest thing anyone said to me today. You're saving up for a PS4. Yeah, yeah, heck yeah, 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 yeah. Final Fantasy VII Remake. HD Gravy Bobs. That was great. That was such a great Let's Play thing that I never finished. Oh. What do you think, though? Oh, Val says, of course. Anybody else? Anybody? Anybody? No? I'm gonna go with Val's then, I guess. Of course there's a reason.
Man, sometimes I can't tell if you're smart or just lucky.
Wow, Junpei! Tone down that salsa.
Huh?
So spicy, Junpei.
This.
Junpei pulled two things out of his pockets. Satan! And Earth. And the Earth key. E3 was pretty impressive this year. I mean, there's a few years in a row that I watched that I was kind of like, eee. But this year, there was a few times where I was like, oh my god! I watched it with Hajime, so it was extra fun. Because then we'd make fun of stuff together, and then... I noticed a lot of the game trailers' reaction to the Final Fantasy VII remake was amazing. Is pretty much how I felt. But the funny thing is, some of them noticed Barrett. I didn't notice Barrett because all I saw was I was trying to get the page loaded because I came home late from work, and all I saw was the back of Cloud's head. And then I switched straight over to Skype, and I'm like, "Was that Cloud's head? Was that Cloud's head?" It was so funny. It was just, is that? It was so great. And of course, me, like the little Animal Crossing fan I am, I'm very excited for Happy Home Designer because I'm a nerd like that. But I know it sucks that it's not a new Animal Crossing for the Wii U, but I'm still happy. I don't know. I'm still happy. I'm like, yay, Animal Crossing. Santa cocked his head to one side like an inquisitive bird and looked at them. You're a bird. After several long moments during which it became apparent that Santa had no idea what the cards meant, June took pity on him. Don't you remember, Santa? Oh my god, my voice did a weird thing. On C deck, where we are now, there was a big elevator behind the stairs, remember? Whoa, did you? That's so nice, Remix. It must be nice to see that it's actually coming out now and you helped support it. That's kind of how I feel about Fatal Frame 5, because all of my Fatal Frame 5 videos I did, I used the hashtag WeWant. Whatever the hashtag was. Wow, I'm really bad. I think it was We Want Fatal Frame 5 or something. And now to see, even if I only helped a little bit, just to see the fact that we're getting it makes me really, really happy. Really happy. I don't know. It feels good to be a part of something like that. That I found kind of stupid. Okay, so you know how when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3, they showed Sora running around in the Tangled world, and then a few days later people were like, Tangled is confirmed as a world in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I was like, well, yeah, it was confirmed when they were sitting in their room and there was concept art on the wall of Tangled stuff. People were like, oh my god, the Tangled world. And I'm like, that was already a thing. Like, why? Anyways. And next to the elevator, there was a card reader for the Saturn. I'm gonna stop. I gotta stop getting. Stop it! Focus me, focus. And next to the elevator, there was a card reader with the Saturn symbol on it. Remember that you are not a viewer. You are the streamer. So you gotta play the game. And on A deck, on the door to the left, there was a keyhole with the Earth symbol on it. I think. Oh, it wasn't spelled that way, but it should have been K. It's really creative. Yeah, but I like their puppets game for Nintendo. Their puppets were cute. Especially the Miyamoto puppet. So cute. Hey, the Funk. Kingdom. Oh, they trolled Kingdom Hearts fans so bad. Before they even announced it. They'd played like 3 other trailers, sorry. So the 2 keys that Junpei has should let us use the elevator and the door on A deck. Huh. Yes, that's right. June smiled, pleased with herself. I'm sorry, the voices are all over the place today. I apologize. I want I want a Final Fantasy 9 remake. Final. Fanny. So, that means something else to our English viewers. I'm sorry. I forgot, because Fanny means something different in North America. June smiled, pleased with herself. So did Santa.
Alright, I got it. Let's get started then. What do you say we split into 2 teams? Lotus and I'll search the Earth one, so you 2 can search Saturn, alright?
Thank you. Sounds good. Sounds. What's going on today? Yes, I did. Unfortunately, Laura Bailey has contract conflict. She had some other work to do, so she couldn't reprise her role as Rise. Unfortunately, as much as that sucks, I don't really want to get mad at the new person because they're probably. I'm assuming they're a new voice actor now starting out, so I'm kind of glad that they got at least some role. But yeah, it is upsetting that it's not Laura. But you know, anyways, butts. Fanny. I'm gonna stop saying it now. Junpei handed the Earth key to Santa. You guys are so distracting. It's great, though. Don't take that the wrong way. I love it. I love talking to you guys, and then I remember, wait, I'm playing a game right now. This is all gonna be on YouTube. I'm so sorry, people watching this on YouTube, if you couldn't catch the stream. I'm so sorry. They decided that their initial search should be brief, only 10 minutes. They'd meet back near the staircase once they were done. Okay, Junpei and June headed for the elevators. Sure enough, there was a card reader bolted to the wall next to the left elevator. He lined up the Saturn key card and swiped it through the reader. That's what I was referring to, Flames. That's exactly what I was referring to. That's why I said I'm so sorry to those of you watching from there. Wait, we're playing a game? Crap. It's me right now. A light on the upper left corner blinked to life.
Great. Great. I don't sound that excited about it. Great. Looks like it's working now.
Alright, now how do I call the elevator? There was a single button to the right of the elevator door. On the button was the upside-down triangle, the universal symbol for down. There didn't appear to be an up button. Junpei pushed it. He didn't have much of a choice. Gotta get down! That was terrible. I'm laughing at my own jokes. It's a lonely life. Laughing at my own jokes. It opened! Look, Junpei! June's voice was excited, but Junpei could hear a tinge of anxiety.
Sweet, it opened. Let's get going.
He grinned at June and stepped toward the open door. As he was about to set foot in it, he felt a hand on his arm. Wait.
What?
I'm not really, I just... Oh, gosh. Junpei was at something of a loss. What could she possibly be so frightened of? Elevators? Elevators are scary. June was probably afraid of being locked up alone with a boy, or they could only go down. What do you think? What are video games? Video game, nani? Oh, I hate being sniffly. They could only go down. Oh, I heard the PC version of Arkham Knight didn't port very well or something. Yikes. Being locked up with a boy. Oh, that's 2 votes for being locked up with a boy. After a little thought, Junpei decided that she had to be nervous about being locked up in such a small space alone with a boy. Yikes. In a way, it was kind of cute. Very demure, you could say, he thought. Still, even though it wasn't exactly roomy in the elevator, they weren't going to be pressed up against one another. Darn. At least they didn't have to be. Still, it was making her nervous. Junpei couldn't help but think how innocent she was. Come on, let's go. Again, he stepped toward the elevator. And again, he felt himself restrained. I said wait a minute!
Why?
Aren't you afraid, Junpei?
Afraid of what?
Well, I've never... you know...
She'd never been in an elevator with a man alone before? Even so, she still seemed awfully alarmed.
I might get wet.
What?
Junpei! Junpei, no! I don't think that's what she means! Down there. I'd get soaking wet.
Oh, well, I mean, of course you would. That's the way it works. I mean, I've never heard of anyone getting soaking wet somewhere else.
Oh my god. This is too lewd. Stop it. That's true. You don't mind?
This conversation is so awkward. Mind what?
Getting wet.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd probably, you know, like it.
Junpei! Jag vet det. Gosh, Junpei, you're so brave.
Really? I mean, I kind of think any guy would do the same thing, you know? What happens, happens, right? Indeed, stupid. If you get the chance, you've just gotta go for it. Stop. That's what a man's supposed to do. I guess.
You're so cool, Junpei! How am I supposed to read this? I really admire you!
That doesn't really seem like the sort of thing you ought to admire someone for.
I'm really scared.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you've never done it before.
Yes. So I don't think I'll be able to last very long, and then it'll be over.
All this innuendo, over?
Yes. I'll go to heaven.
Heaven?
It feels kind of like you're floating in space, and your mind gets all fuzzy, like when you pass out. At least, that's what I've heard from people who have experienced it.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Although I don't think the same thing happens to guys.
What?
Huh?
But it would happen to men too, wouldn't it? It would happen to anyone.
Oh, here it comes. They're gonna realize. Or, I mean, he's gonna realize.
Once it gets into your body, the same thing happens to everyone.
Well, I mean, usually it doesn't go inside the man. I mean, generally...
Yeah, it does. Well, eventually it will. It's not like you really have a choice. This is so much better reading this out loud than it was quietly to myself. Oh my god. Your body will force you to swallow some of it eventually. I'm done. I can't do this. Help.
What are you trying to do to me?
Nothing. I'm just not going to do anything to you. I mean, I'm not going to... I just read that totally weird. Nothing. I'm not going to do anything to you. I'm just saying that that's what happens. It's a psychological reaction to what you're experiencing.
Was that really how it happened?
It occurred to Junpei that perhaps that was how it worked. Junpei! Please take sex ed. Perhaps he'd been mistaken all these years. Had he misunderstood life so gravely? The thought terrified him. June seemed to be entirely oblivious to Junpei's mounting confusion and terror. I know most men probably have larger lungs, but even then, I don't think you could hold your breath for 20 or even 10 minutes. Eventually, you'd have to breathe, and then the water would get into your lungs. Once that happens, your body won't be able to get oxygen anymore, and you'll start to feel that floaty feeling as you pass out. There it is. Finally, Junpei understood. Junpei, you're so freaking stupid. He understood what June was trying to say and why she was so scared.
Yeah, you're right. You wouldn't last very long.
See?
She's like so scared and he's like, ha 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 ha.
Poor girl. You think drowning is funny? She was afraid that the only elevator button pointed down.
That took so long, Junpei.
That meant, of course, that the elevator couldn't go any higher than the floor they were on.
That was his laugh.
As he thought about it, Junpei realized he hadn't seen elevators on the A or B decks near the central staircase. I can't believe that took him so long. All of which meant that the elevators could only convey them to the... Yeah, convey them, I read it right, to the lower decks. And the floor below the one they were on, D deck, should be completely submerged. Stupid. That meant...
Hey, wait a minute. This elevator came up from somewhere under us, right?
Well, yeah, I guess it did. It didn't open right away after you pressed the button. There was a motor noise like it was moving, and then it opened.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So take a look inside.
Junpei jerked his head toward the interior of the elevator. Oh, there's that Persona 5 emoji.
It's not wet at all, is it?
We can't talk about wet anymore. It's ruined, Junpei. Thank you.
The walls and even the floor are totally dry.
Oh, you're right. They are. She looked around the elevator, slightly embarrassed.
Well, let's test it.
Test it?
Yeah, watch this.
Junpei put one foot in the elevator and bent around the corner of the door until he could see the floor buttons. There were only two, E and C. He pushed the E button and jumped out the elevator. The door slid shut and they heard the grinding of the motor as the elevator car moved down. I should save. I haven't saved in a while. How do you save again? Down on the D-pad. Oh. I did it! Look at that face, Jonah. That's pretty good. Would you like to quit? No. A few moments later, they heard the sound of the elevator door grinding open several floors below. Junpei nodded to June and pressed the elevator button again. A few moments later, the elevator returned. Thanks for explaining how elevators work. The door slid open, and just as Junpei had expected, there was no water to be found. See? Junpei couldn't resist puffing out his chest just a little bit. June, however, still looked confused. What does that mean? How can the E deck be safe if the D deck is full of water?
Well, here's what I think. The elevator shaft and E deck must be watertight, separated from wherever the ship's been punctured. Here, let me show you.
He pulled out his notebook and pen and sketched out a rough illustration. Wow, nice drawing. I see. I see. That's terrible. So is that why the ship hasn't sunk? The shape of the inside keeps it from
Yeah, I think that's what's going on.
Junpei continued talking as he closed the notebook and slipped it back into his pocket.
So I'm gonna go down and check it out. You stay here, alright? I read that really weird.
But...
Come on, just do it, alright?
He gave June's shoulder a reassuring squeeze, then hopped onto the elevator. Yes! That groan is definitely welcomed because that joke deserved it. He pushed the E button and the door began to close. June looked worried, her eyes darting back and forth as if she was trying to make a decision when suddenly... I'm coming with you!
Huh?
At the last possible moment, June dashed forward, turning sideways just in time to slip through the gap between the closing doors. Junpei jammed his finger against the open button, but it was too late. The door had shut. He and June were in the elevator, and it was headed down to E deck. Well then. Don't do anything in this elevator, kids. He was so surprised by June that he didn't have any time to think about what awaited him on E deck. The elevator stopped and the door slid open. No water! They stepped off onto the floor outside the elevator. Nothing seemed especially unusual. No fish going about their fishy business or jellyfish floating lazily through the water. There was, however, a blowfish. Or at least something that looked very much like one. June's cheeks were puffed out and her mouth a tiny, intense frown.
Oh, knock it off. It's just like I thought. This part... Sorry, it wasn't it was Just like I thought. This part hasn't flooded. Come on, just look around. There's no water here.
June looked around nervously, then... Ha! Exhaled. Ha! She screamed suddenly. I'm sorry, she didn't scream. She exhaled. How was I supposed to know ha was exhaling when she looked so surprised? You're right. I just screamed for no reason, Junpei. It's not flooded at all. Awkward scream.
See?
But there's a whole lot. It's June. But there's a whole lot of water.
Yeah, right on top of us.
What's going to happen if the ceiling breaks? That's like me. That's something I would think of. What if the ceiling breaks? What's going to happen if the... Oh, no, I read that. Junpei thought about that for... That's how I usually breathe out. It's just... Ah! Breathe in. I can't breathe in because I'm all like... Breathe out. Ah! Junpei thought about that for a moment. Maybe she did see a ghost.
Well, we'd probably get really wet up there.
Huh?
At any rate, why did he put a pause between up there? At any rate, we should probably go back as soon as we can, once we're done looking around down here. Lotus and Santa might already be back.
Okay, good idea. Junpei glanced around the room they'd found themselves in. When people breathe out, they scream. Yep, this is a learning channel. Educating you on normal things in life. Totally normal. The first thing he noticed was a set of thick iron bars. They ran the length of the room, separating the left elevator from the right one.
Well, we can't go over there.
Right. Sorry, my voice. Then perhaps, in the corner of the room that housed the elevators, Junpei found an opening. He walked up to it and stuck his head around the corner. Ooh. A long, straight hallway stretched out in front of him. That door at the end of the hallway, there's something written on it.
Yeah, let's go have a look.
It's a 6, guys. It's so big. I wear glasses and I can still see it. Junpei and June set off down the hallway at a brisk clip. At a brisk clip? Somewhere between a run and a jog. Who wrote this part? Why was that necessary? Yep, lots of edumacation. Before long, they found themselves in front of the door. On it was a number written in bright red paint. That's right, Jonah, you figured me out. I am the protagonist of Persona 5. Clip clop. On it was a number written in bright red paint. 6. I think I read that already. I'm sorry.
I knew it.
This is a numbered door. And indeed, there was a I forgot that was a thing, bolted to the wall right next to the door. Of course, with only 2 people, there wasn't much they could do with it.
Alright, let's head back.
Yes. Why does she always say yes instead of like, yeah? Junpei and June... It'd make more sense in Japanese because like, hi, but yes does not work with English. I don't know. Junpei and June turned and headed back to C deck. On their way back, Junpei noticed a map on the wall. I don't know what my persona would be, but apparently I think we did Arcanas last time when I was playing Persona 3 Portable, and I think my Arcana based on birth is the Justice Arcana. It's velvet. It's maroon. So Junpei noticed a map on the wall. As it turned out, it was a burnt map of the ship's interior for E-Deck. You said Velvet oh Velvet, and I thought of Jenny oh Jenny from like those old Pokemon jukebox songs. Brock's song for Jenny and Joy. Hey, Brown! My tarot would be Zawarudo. Why? Oh, I guess why not?
Huh. So you guys found door 1.
They'd met back up with Santa and Lotus, who had explained what they'd found. Apparently, there was another numbered door on A deck, just like the one on E deck, beyond the door that the Earth Key opened. According to Santa and Lotus, there was a 1 on the door. All told, they'd discovered 2 new doors, the 6 door and the 1 door. It's interesting that E deck wasn't flooded. Lotus was quiet for a moment, lost in thought.
Well, we don't really know if all of E-Deck is safe. We only checked the area around the elevator.
Even so, it's still very interesting.
You said the 6th door was there, right? Yeah, this is June.
Yes, of course.
Then that makes oh my god, that means Zero planned all this out, even the sinking. That would have meant some pretty serious remodeling of the ship's interior.
It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. Yeah. Oh, now she says yeah. I wonder how long it took. I can't even imagine how much it must have costed. You feel hungry. Maybe have a snack. Oh, no wonder. I didn't watch the Persona 4 animation to completion. I only watched a few of the episodes. I have it, though. I should watch it. Oh, my ears. Oh, there we go. It's back to normal. Sorry. My ears popped. Do you watch JoJo's too? No, I haven't started JoJo's. I'm watching Ansatsu Kyoshitsu. Assassination Classroom right now, which is still coming out weekly, I think. Sorry.
It would have been a ton, that's for sure. Well, that does go along with what Ace was saying. The most reasonable explanation would be that this was done by some organization with access to a whole lot of cash.
Yes, it does make sense. That thought made them all go quiet for a moment. June bit her lip while Lotus sighed softly to herself, and Santa cracked a stiff neck and stared off into the distance at nothing. Wow. Very descriptive. But I've heard a lot about JoJo's. You got the Fool Arcana. And it has a movie too. Well, the live-action movie. No, we're not watching the dub. We're watching the sub. But yeah, we haven't Skyped in a week or so, so we're probably behind on episodes now. I don't think it's a very good idea to stay here. June looked up at Junpei with large, pleading eyes.
Yeah, you're right. Ace and his team might be back already.
Well, Junpei and I should be able to go... Nailed it. Well, Junpei and I should be able to open door 1.
Huh? You guys leaving me behind?
8 plus 6 plus 5 equals 19. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. Just kidding. Alright, let's go. Lotus's words were all the impetus they needed. Impetus? I don't... What is that word? Back to the large hospital room they went. If I like Persona, I'll like JoJo, so then I should check it out. I do still need to finish Persona 4 anime, though. The moment they stepped inside, a tremendous voice echoed across the room. I need to finish Love Live, too. I only... It's into season 1. And I love me some Idoru, so I should. You rewatched Inuyasha? Oh yeah, I heard it was on Netflix recently. I've kind of wanted to rewatch Inuyasha, but I remember being really frustrated with it at times.
Hey! Where the hell are you going to go?
It was 7. Ace was right behind him, and Clover was behind Ace, although she seemed to be hanging back. It looked as though there was something strange about them. 7 had the look of a man who'd seen a ghost. Ah! Ace was just as pale, and Clover looked as though she was only moments from passing out entirely. For a long moment, they simply stood there looking at one another. Love Live makes you cry many times. Ah, yes, good. Just like Idolmaster. So I'm prepared. Junpei looked around nervously, waiting for someone else to speak. No one did. He looked at 7.
What happened?
Rewatching Danganronpa, yay!
What the hell kind of question is that?
7 was trying very hard to be angry, but something had shaken him hard. His shoulders were trembling and his voice was strained. The force or energy in which the body moves. Oh, hey Neo. Thanks for that.
Snake is...
7 couldn't finish. He just looked away, his face twisted by... Junpei wasn't sure. Instead, Ace spoke. He took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and spoke.
Snake is... dead. He died, just as the 9th man did.
It was as if the air had suddenly been sucked out of the room. Junpei felt his heartbeat quicken, and he realized he was having trouble breathing. He could feel cold sweat beading on his forehead and neck. June, Santa, and Lotus looked the way he felt. All 3 were frozen in place, their faces white. Did I say hi to Neo? Oh, hi Neo! I can't remember if I said hi to you, so I probably said hi twice. Short-term memory loss. Oh my god. That's not true, is it?
Snake? Snake!
Dun, dun, dun. I know, you can't help but quote Metal Gear Solid, can you? We should make sure.
Yeah, right. We should.
They nodded to one another and headed for the number 3 door.
Wait! Not that way.
They stopped short and turned to look at 7. He was pointing at the door with no number. That anime is embarrassing? What do you mean?
I stuck a screwdriver in there to keep the door from closing all the way. It's not locked, so you can go in that way. Where is he?
Also, I did say hi twice. Whoops.
The shower room on the left side of the hallway. I put a broom in there too to keep the door open. We can get in without going through the numbered door, right? Yeah, that's right.
Their new destination cleared, Junpei and his companions headed for the door with no number. Oh, I don't know if I want to see this. Once in the hallway, it was easy to spot the metal door on the left wall. It hadn't been open when they'd been through before. But now, just as 7 had said, there was a broom stuck between the door and the frame, keeping it open. They looked at it for a moment, then stepped inside. Ugh, it smells horrible. Lotus wrinkled her nose and covered her mouth in disgust. Even Santa pinched his nose shut.
Yeah, this is pretty awful. I feel like I'm gonna puke.
It was just as bad as they said, perhaps worse. A hideous smell filled the air, so thick they could almost taste it. It was sour and smelled of fish, feces, and burnt meat. That's very gross. Am I senpai? Senpai, that it? Hi, Omni. Oh, hi, Chair. Chair-kun. So cute. Chair-kun. It worked its way through Junpei's nose and down his throat to pound against the entrance to his stomach. I can't imagine what fish feces and burnt meat smelled like. Altogether. He put his hands over his mouth and struggled to keep what little was in his stomach where it belonged. Laughter. LR? They didn't have to wonder where the body was. There was blood everywhere, a few arms of the splatter reaching toward them as they walked in through the door. Oh, God. All one had to do was follow the many radial arms to their source. The body itself was hidden behind a divider.
June, you should stay here.
But...
Please, just do me a favor, okay? Alright?
I'm so close to solving this mystery, I can almost taste it. No, not in this case. He didn't give her a chance to say no. He put his hand on her shoulder as if to shove her into the ground like a tent pole. Wow, what? That's kind of a violent description, though I'm sure he did gently turned and walked toward the end of the divider. That's okay. Clumsily playing Ultimax, you mean kicking major ass, right? Right? Yeah? It felt like it took an eternity for him to get there. Santa and Lotus followed, timid and nervous as a pair of children. Eventually, they reached the divider. That's a body that is in pieces and smells like, smells like fish, feces, and burnt meat. Why burnt meat, though? Like, isn't there other smells that could incorporate, like garbage, but they chose burnt meat. Okay. They looked at one another and nodded slowly. Junpei put his hands on the divider and peered around the corner. For a moment, he forgot to breathe. Kicking monkey ass. Sounds fun. He felt his heart collapse in his chest like an empty cigarette carton, and time... Who writes these descriptions? That's a really weird... He felt his heart collapse in his chest. That's good enough for me. I can imagine what that feels like. And then, like an empty cigarette carton, and time froze. Okay. Okay. He knew in that instant that he would take the image before him to the grave. What was left of the body sat in a sea of blood. Chunks of flesh, torn from the body, sat in the blood like tiny islands in a great Red Sea. A vast, ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and become stuck there as they dried. Globules, I'm guessing, of yellowish fat, that was difficult, of yellowish fat had left trails like tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried to it.
Just like Ace said.
Like spaghetti, that's so disrespectful. Intestines, like spaghetti! That's so rude.